Hey, a century ago, our world was much isolated. Nations, tribes live independently. Today, however, our world has become increasingly interconnected, thanks to factors such as trade liberalization, cultural exchange, and political cooperation. The most significant force behind this transformation has been technological advancement, which has led to the concept of the global village. But that's not it all, because according to Yuval Noah Harari, a professor of history at the University of Jerusalem, the world is moving towards a unified global culture underpinned by democratic values. This shift signifies not only the blending of cultures, but an emergence of shared dialogue through our words and actions. So, as you can imagine, there's rapid change around the whole world affecting everybody and anybody you can possibly think of. It is therefore my interest to contribute to this conversation and actively participate in the creation of such a future. This is why I'm starting a podcast. As we move closer to a more globalized world, many cultures face significant challenges. But none has faced these challenges as profoundly as South Sudan, a very young nation that only attained its independence in the year 2011 after more than 2 decades at war. And while we embrace these global cultural values such as democracy, feminism, and freedom of speech, these concepts tend to be rigid and contentious, with many differing opinions about their relevance and applicability. But my country, just like any other country around the whole world, along with its people, is working extremely hard to be able to adopt and appropriately navigate these modern principles. As a South Sudanese myself, I aim to showcase our culture and belief to a broader audience. My podcast will therefore feature a variety of content, including discussion and interviews on topics such as democracy, religions, politics, and music. This is not a political podcast at all. I will look at this topic from the South Sudanese perspective and investigate how they fit into the global culture. Additionally, Africa as a continent has been making a stride forward recently, especially in terms of development, but our pace of development has been somewhat slow, something akin to that of a snail. I always tell people that when Africa takes one step forward, the rest of the world, especially the Western world, takes stand. Why are we so slow? What is it that slows us down? Despite the rate and speed of change being unprecedented today, I believe that Africa is tremendously blessed and has a lot of potential. So, part of my podcast will be looking at these issues and discussing possible solutions. Last but not least, I live in the United States, and my life and experiences are also determined by what happens here. For example, the just concluded general elections. So, as we look at everything South Sudan and Africa, we will also dedicate a section of this podcast to what is happening here in the United States and the Western world. We will also look to delve into topics that are newsworthy. We will also look at how what is happening in the Western world affects Africa in general. Through my podcast, I will examine these issues and many more, fostering a deeper understanding of the issues that we face and the path we take towards progress. I will be flexible, I will be orderly, so I beg your patience. Nevertheless, I implore you to join me on this exciting journey as we explore the complexities of our world together, amplifying only the voices that deserves to be heard and sharing the stories that only matters. Let's come together to create a space for dialogue, reflection, and growth as we collectively educate one another. One more thing, ladies and gentlemen, you've turned a page, you've started a new year, and today the NVS Studios Podcast officially begins. My name is Dedah, and this is NVS Studios, the podcast you never knew you needed.